A very warm welcome to Club Javier Says brand new episode of Reading Ravens, a show in which we talk to our club members about a book that they have read. And today, a very special member is along with us. He is a qualified chartered accountant and serving in one of a reputed companies of India into the paint sector. And he is Mr. Mukesh Kumar. So first of all, I would like to welcome you, Mukesh, to the program. A very warm welcome to Club Have Your Says Reading Ravens.
Thank you, Vijay. Very good evening and very good evening all to viewers.
Yes, and again, a big thank you for taking our time at 9 p.m. at night after the dinner. But we couldn't find any appropriate time seeing your occupancy and your busy schedule.
It's always a privilege, Vijay, to being here, especially with you. So it's really big privilege for me.
Thank you so very much for such kind words. So on these kind words, let's get started with today's program, the Reading Ravens. So sure. As you all know that the program is all about a book that one of our member has read, and the book that we are going to talk about today is a very interesting book. Its name itself is very intriguing and interesting, and the name of the book is Atomic Habit. So first of my question to you, Mukesh, that any particular reason of picking up this book, though I can understand the word atomic habit is itself is very intriguing and sufficient enough to pick up the book, but is there any story behind it?
Yeah, so with it, recently I have gone through one strategic leadership program conducted by one very renowned facilitator. His name is Mr. Ranganathan, and he's fondly known as Mr. Ranga. So during those 2-day session, he suggested this book, and I admire that facilitator, Mr. Ranga, a lot. Without wasting any time, I picked this book, and I think it makes wonders to me. So that's all. I think the story started, and then the whole history now.
All right. So this book was a part of a leadership program. So is it recommended to be an effective leader?
Not exactly part of the curriculum of the program. Somehow he was liking that book, and he suggested that book, that if you are interested on the area of habit, then it's a good pick. So that's how it came.
All right. So yes, in order to be an effective leader, we need to reframe certain habits of ours. So no surprise that why he recommended this book, and no surprise why you picked it up immediately. So let's get started about talking more about the book. But before we dwell more upon what the content of book is and what the book holds, let's talk about the author first, Mr. James Clear. So could you please share something about the author?
So James Clear is a very renowned, I think, author and a speaker. And about this book, I think it's a very, very good circulated copies, more than 50 languages, more than 5 million copies sold, and the bestseller in the New York Times. So book is really interesting and really popular. What about author? So how he started this journey of writing this book? So what happened in the early age of James Clear? He met with one accident with a baseball, and it took at least 6 years to come back to the routine life for him. While he was not well, what he did, he just did small things. It's as simple as that, like eating right, going back to the bed on time, right, morning early. So he compared himself with his colleagues or his peer group, his friends. They were playing, I think, all kind of sports, all kind of video game, and having parties, whereas he was living this small, simple life. But in long term, when he relates himself, that making those small or very, very mundane kind of habits played a big role in his overall life. So hence he started writing this book, that how small habit works and can make wonder for you. So that's the story behind this book and about the author.
All right. Quite an interesting story about the author, and it's quite inspiring as well. Perhaps that is the reason why he came up with such an interesting and intriguing book. So anything in particular about the book that made you complete it quickly? What the book is all about?
See, this book is talk about, I think, learning and are learning both. So sometimes you get a lot of books or a lot of study material to learn something new, start doing this. But this book talk about both the things. And this book does not talk about like quantum of things. This book talks about that you do things small, 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 small. And those small, small changes, like the name itself suggests that small, small changes create like a lot of molecules. And then one fine day, those things will like blast like your atom and bring the inflection point in your life that the results will be magical, results will be breakthrough. So that's how author suggests that bring only 1% change. Don't bring like an extraordinary change in one day. Or do certain things on very like maybe it can be like a 2 minutes habit. So then things will compound over a period of time and then give you the breakthrough results. I think that's how the preamble of this book started. And then like I really get into the depth of the every single aspect of the book and finished it on time.
Right. So the crux here is that one should not go for, you can say, the bigger piece of the cake. Rather, start with small steps. Maybe the 1% rule the book is talking about.
Correct.
I think it is very valid point, because in generally what happens when we think of forming a habit, we tend to think in large chunks. We think of transforming ourselves overnight or maybe in few weeks. But things that generally doesn't happen that way. So I think it also gives you some motivation, because small things you do daily, and once you check them off from your list, it boosts your confidence, and perhaps that is required to be making a new kind of a habit. So I think that's really a workable solution in the book provided by the author. So does the book only talk about forming a habit, or it also talks about giving up a habit? Because I think giving up a habit is equally important. Because we have at least so many habits that we want to get rid of, but we find it very challenging giving up those habits. So any technique that author talks about giving up a habit?
Yeah, so not challenging, I would say rather higher than like it's the difficult task to give up the habit. I would put it that way. So yeah, our author has given there are 4 steps which author has given here that make things obvious, make things attractive, and make things easy and satisfying. These are 4 steps I think author has suggested, and this applies for good habit as well as bad habit both. I would rather I would give you example here, since you talk about a bad habit. Like let's take example of smoking. Smoking is like a bad habit, right? So then author says that you make it like kind of difficult. Don't make it easy. Like okay, and don't make it kind of satisfying for yourself. Author has given very interesting example in the book about the make things unattractive or make things kind of like a difficult or not an easy one. The example is slightly a very or high order, but still I thought let me share that.
Please.
So there was one group who were doing study on that how to avoid the nuclear war. And nuclear war is the biggest threat on the planet Earth as of now. So what they come up with a suggestion that let's take the code of the nuclear weapon, put that code into a capsule, and plant that capsule to the heart, near to the heart of a volunteer who is really willing to avoid the nuclear war. And whenever the president of the country or the person who is responsible to trigger that weapon to invoke the nuclear war, he has to first cut the body of that particular person, take the nuclear code, and then only he can do. So what he has, you just look at or think that what he has to say to the volunteer, look, buddy, I have to really kill you first, so I can kill the millions of the people more. How it would be difficult for him to do that activity. So the kind of making things difficult or not unsatisfying is something, if you can make it, your bad habits or difficult habits can be easily done. So this is how the interesting examples has been given to unlearn a lot of bad things or bad habits.
And very well put by you, Mukesh. And now this gives me another question, that since now you know how to form a habit and how to give up a habit. So now I would like to ask you, any one habit that you picked up after reading the book and one habit that you could give up. So did you apply the learnings on yourself?
Good. So I'll give both the example, and I will be like very honest here that see, I'm a very short temperament person, kind of. And so let me tell you the bad habit which I'm trying to give up. This is a journey, as I said, that is not like a one day you can do, but it's a journey which I really embark on. So responsiveness to anything or any kind of a stimuli, if you get, then you need to hold yourself for some time and then adjust that, then grasp that, and then this response. So that whatever time you get in between, that will settle down a lot of anxiety which you have. So I think that is the one bad habit which I'm on the journey to give up. And this book and the examples which is given is really helped me. Coming back to the good habit which I'm trying is like kind of a physical fitness, which on the journey I am. I started with two Surya Namaskar. So started with two, then three, four, five, like this, then it goes. Then after that, I started running as well. So now I can easily run at 5 kilometers, and I'm really happy to share that yesterday I did the 21-kilometer walkathon also. So Sunday, 5 kilometer continuous walking.
Oh,
So then you can see exploding the result or having breakthrough. So I really realized that breakthrough moment in life after doing this only 45 days by now, which I'm doing.
yes. So indeed, I think the book is now started having effects on you, huh? And good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So every book has got some content to glue its readers, something very interesting and something that reader always is reminded of, something, one USP you can say about the book. So could you please certain interesting anecdotes or stories that the author shared in the book that is still fresh in your memory, and that could be one reason for our viewers to read the book.
Yeah, a lot of examples, a lot of stories has been given. I could pick a couple of stories here. So as author said that the overall result or like rewards is not like on day one or day two or 1 week. It's like delayed reward. So author has given an example of the delayed reward or delayed, like how you can pursue things after some time only. So let's take the example of a bamboo tree. Bamboo tree takes at least 5 years to even get noticed by the person or anyone. 5 years is a big time. After 5 years, it takes only 6 weeks time to explode at to 60 feet height. So you can just relate that someone really has to wait 5 years and then 6 weeks is like anything, 60 feet. So that's habit also work. Then you do small, 1%, 1%, 1% improvement, and you keep compounding things. And then one fine day, you will see a point where you will see the magic, you will see the breakthrough results happening.
Yes.
So that's how the one example. If time permit, I can give one more example.
Yes, we would love to hear one more. Yes.
So nowadays, I think all of us are facing with a one big problem. One of the disease like cancer, like so far, I think the medical fraternity did not have any answer to the disease where short treatment can be given. So cancer is also like of a disease with 80% of the life, cancer remain undetected in the human life, 80% time. And it just again takes months time or 4 weeks time just to expand in the entire body or that particular part. So it's like bad habit is like that you never know that you are in the trap of bad habit. Slowly you get into that, and one fine day it gives a lot of disadvantage to you. So these are the two examples on the good habit part or a bad habit part, which always reminds me that how things accumulate and then give the like a extraordinary results or breakthrough results.
Yes, and I think the patience is it's a great virtue to have, and in order to be on the path of forming a habit or giving up a habit, I think patience plays a major role because nothing happens overnight. Yes, so I think we need to give ourselves some time, even if you want to form up a habit, maybe by doing 1%, and if you want to give up a habit again by discouraging the results, or you can say the inclination towards going it. But I think The bamboo and this example really instills this concept in our mind that yes, you need to give yourself some time in order to transform yourself by forming up a habit. So, Mukesh, as we are coming towards the final part of our interaction, we would love to know from you if you could give us few learnings, few messages, or few takeaways from this book. Like if a reader reads it, so what could be the possible takeaways from the book?
See, if anyone want to pick this book, or so I think the first thing about that, this book talk about very interestingly about how to explore the habit side of any human. Okay, how human creates habit, how human give up habits. So there are a lot of interesting things given in the book. That's the one thing. And second, very obvious thing that I think all of us want to either pick some habit or give up some habit. So very simple. If you are really interested in that, pick up this book. I'm pretty sure this will create magic in your life.
Yeah. And I think reading book and forming a habit of reading a book it's a good thing to start off. And no better book to start by this book, Atomic Habit, talking about habits. So one more question to you. Does this book only talks about how to make a habit or how to give up a habit? Or it also lists down certain good habits and certain not so good habits? Does it list down certain habits which should be, you can say, picked up?
I don't think so. Book prescribe anything. I think it's up to user or reader to pick what works for him or what he or she, or what does not work for he or she. So that's how I think it does not prescribe anything. It's about the science of the habits, forming the habit.
All right, it is behind just the concept of how you can form a habit. Right.
Yeah.
Thank you so very much, Mukeshji, for taking time out today and talking to us about this very interesting book. Even the name is very interesting, Atomic Habit. And given the condition we are into, where countries are fighting, the word atomic has its own relevance.
Yeah.
So yes, but here it talks about atomic habits, which means small things, because atom is a very minute part of any element, and such minute changes can bring about huge transformation in lives if done on a regular basis with consistency and persistency. I think that is the crux of the book. So thank you so very much, Mukesh, once again for taking our time on Monday morning at late hours during the dinner time and sharing the crux of this book, Atomic Habit, with us, written by Mr. James Clear. And now we are looking forward to meet you again. I am pretty much sure that with this book now you are on a spree of reading back-to-back books, and your next book must be somewhere around the completion. So we will catch hold of you again and with another book, another learnings and new messages from the new book. Till then, thank you so very much, Mukeshji, joining. Any final words you would like to share with our viewers?
So as you rightly said that you look forward for another session. So I would say reading the book is not the objective. Become the reader is the objective. Okay, that's the habit. So, and I'm on the journey of that. Let me be honest with you. And I'm really thankful to you with it. And the HIS platform, I think I'm really fortunate enough to be part of this group and really part of the interesting journey with you guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And we are along with you. So you keep reading and we keep discussing.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much, viewers, for connecting us and watching this program. And stay home and stay safe. Things are going in a different direction once again. Till then, we meet next. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.